Good morning. Happy Friday. Friday, March 5th, 2021. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. The show we got today is stacked. It is unreal. We're finishing week one out with a bang. Going to have my Big Ben reactions. We're going to have two of his teammates, former teammates, Super Bowl champions with Big Ben, and two of his closest pals, Willie Colon, Ike Taylor, on at the same time talking about it. So the only Steelers insight you need is right here this morning on Morning Joey. Then after that, Stu Feiner. And Stu Feiner, I tweeted last night, it was maybe the most hilarious and entertaining interview I've ever done. Stu is a legend. The energy that he has being, I think, 61 years old is just absolutely insane. And I can only hope that I have half of that when I get to be his age. But I love him. He's the best. He's coming up around 9:30 after we have Ike and Willie talking some Big Ben. Be sure to subscribe below. A link to subscribe. Like the video. Comment. I love to hear from you guys. Share it. You can go back and watch later. The Cup of Joey merchandise, the dad hat, the mug. Only $10 for the mug, right? Go check it out. Link is below. And the Indian Sanity merch. March is here. Indian Sanity. This is history. So be a part of it. Get your shirt, crew neck, hoodie, long sleeve, I think, all below. Check that out. But let's get right into a quick triple shot before the fellas join. 21 years of PlayStation 2. Today's the 21st birthday of the PlayStation 2. And that is the gaming system really of my childhood. That and GameCube is really, that was Friday nights for me growing up. I don't know, probably, 21 years. So, third grade through seventh grade before the Xbox came around. PlayStation 2, give me top three games on that one. Give me NBA Street Volume 2, Battlefront 2, NCAA 06 with Reggie Bush on the cover, and I'm set. I'm still set to this day. I mean, I think PlayStation 2 is, it's like just like the iPhone 8 Plus. It's just consistent. It's really good. Not great, but now I'm getting into Cowherd. Cowherd, he didn't give me a shout out yesterday. We got cat and mouse going on with me and him with the Baker stuff. I told you that's what he was going to say, though. You were with me early, and I told you from the start, 9 a.m. and 10 a.m., I said, this is what Cowherd's going to say. I put a video out of it even, and I don't know if the man watched it and then took it from me, or if this is generally like I'm just in his head. I don't know. I'm trying to confirm. I don't know, but that's exactly damn near what he said. So me and Cowherd got that weird thing going on. But yeah, I mean, Battlefront 2, you go in there and play Mos Eisley. That was like the beginning of, on Call of Duty, the zombies, you just go, it's just a melee. Like there's no campaign. You're just out there playing dark side versus light side. You got Han Solo shooting up General Grievous and Darth Maul chasing down Yoda. I mean, it's insane. It's the best game ever. NCAA 06, I'm pretty sure I always played with USC because I loved to play with Reggie Bush because you just pitched it to him on the outside. He made one juke move to the right, and then he was up the sideline and gone. I always tried to score 100 points on Hawaii in the opener, and it was like that was my thing. It's like if I didn't do that, I would quit and restart. 21 years of PlayStation 2. Wow. That's incredible. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Joey. Rule of Galaxy, good morning. Seth, NCAA 07 and PS2 is also amazing. NFL Street was heavily underrated. A lot of people like NFL Street. I like NFL Street as well. I'm just such a big NBA Street guy. NBA Street Volume 2, I think I'm just a sucker for the music because the intro song, Rock and CL Smooth, a Reminisce Over You, it's just, you can't beat it. You can't beat it. So I go NBA Street over NFL Street, but I played NFL Street with Polizzi over the beginning of the pandemic last year, and you were right. It was pretty fun. Drake released new music overnight this morning. Got some new Drake out there. Scary Hours 2. There's only 3 songs on it, so I don't know if it's a mixtape or what you would consider it, but he has new music out there, so going to be a big weekend for a lot of people, I'm sure, out there at their darties and on college campuses and at bars that are open more, playing the new Drake. You can get ready for a lot of Instagram captions from the new lyrics. If there's something that you don't know that looks like a lyric on any caption on Twitter, Instagram, anything this weekend, it's from that. It's a big weekend for all the guys that we went to high school with that like to act like they're rich, but they're not, and post on Instagram something like this. Or like, with the boys out at a bar. Gonna see a lot of that. So Drake's got new music. That's all right. I saw on Apple Music they had the caption was, when I searched for it, he said from Apple Music, a few months out from knee surgery, the boy hasn't lost a step. Nice, Apple Music. That's you're sitting on that one for a while. So I'm gonna be listening to that. Haven't checked that out yet. I think they consider an EP. SX Tricky was a really, really good one. Yeah, going back, I got Willie in here real quick. And before I get Willie on, we got a few minutes. I wanted to wait for Ike T to come on as well. Big Ben yesterday, and the Steelers announced that he's coming back officially in 2021. They restructured his contract. He took a $5 million pay cut, opened up after spreading it out over the next year or two, opened up about $15 million on the Steelers payroll for the salary cap for this season. So gets him out of salary cap hell. They still don't have a lot of money, but it gets him out of salary cap hell. And I just don't understand the idea behind people on Twitter complaining so heavily about Big Ben coming back. I don't know what the better option would be in 2021 for the Steelers. So you're going to go with Mason Rudolph, an experiment in Dwayne Haskins. You're not going to be able to draft one of the top guys to come in. So you're either going to take a shot on somebody, or you're going to draft somebody in the third round again. That's another project, and they're going to turn into Josh Dobbs again. How can anybody legitimately look me in the eye and tell me that Big Ben Roethlisberger in 2021 is not the best option for the Steelers roster to try to make another run, to try to get back into the playoffs and see what happens? It just makes no sense. In I fully admit it all the time. He is on his last leg. His best days are behind him. This is probably going to be his last year. I admit all that fully well. But in 2021, compared to the other options, you cannot tell me that any of them are better than Big Ben for that roster. You can't. I refuse to believe it. And so this idea that people want Big Ben, they wanted the Steelers to cut Big Ben because now he's Mike Tannenbaum out there saying he's the fourth best quarterback in the division, and they got suckered into this and yada, yada, yada. What did you want them to do? Just completely concede an entire season and give it to Mason Rudolph and flip back and forth with him and Haskins? Yeah, 6-10, 7-9. Let's sign up for that. Let's waste the prime years of T.J. Watt and Minka Fitzpatrick and Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt and Devin Bush. Let's waste all that because we don't really like Big Ben anymore because he's got a bad rap and we just don't like him anymore and he's annoying and people make fun of him on Twitter. So let's get him out. Give me a break with that, man. I'm not signing up for that. I'm not signing up for a back and forth season again like we saw in 2019 with Mason Rudolph and then Duck Hodges, and now it's going to be Mason Rudolph and Dwayne Haskins. I'm just not. I'm not doing it. So I don't understand the idea behind everybody getting all freaked out and bitching and moaning on Twitter about how, oh, look at the Steelers, they made a mistake. Big Ben's just got to go. He's washed up. Yes, he's on his last leg. I get that. I admit it. I just did. But the man still completed nearly 69% of his passes last year. He threw, I think, for over 3,000 yards, 30-plus touchdowns. Yes, they fizzled down the stretch, but they were 11-0. They were rolling. You saw the flashes against the Colts. And the idea that Cleveland, all these people from Cleveland, Browns fans are rejoicing because the Steelers brought back Big Ben. He's 25-3-1 in his career against Cleveland. I think that's completely asinine for all those folks to sit there and rejoice because they beat him one time in the wild card round. It's been 15 years of complete ownership and beat down by Big Ben. So go ahead and get all your retweets and everything that you want, but that's ridiculous. All right, Ike T is going to be joining soon. I got my man Willie Colon. I just had to get my thoughts on it out there before we bring in Willie. Willie, good morning.
What's up, brother?
How you doing, man?
Good, man. What's going on?
Thanks for waking up with me and joining me.
I appreciate it.
I know you got, I see him every week on our podcast, Going Deep. The jersey's behind you. You played with Big Ben. You're pals with Big Ben. Won a Super Bowl with him. So now he's back, looking like his final year. What's your initial thoughts on him coming back and the deal that they worked out?
Well, I think from an organizational standpoint, it made a lot of sense, right? Like I was backstage listening to your small rant. I mean, we don't have anybody, right? Like who do you turn to kind of pass the torch to when you still have a defense that can compete at a high level, when you still have a receiving core that can go out there and get busy. The one missing piece for this offense going forward is, who's going to replace Marquise Pouncey? What does the running back position look like? So those are things you can address in the draft and free agency. But Big Ben specifically, the man only had 10 interceptions last year, threw over for 3,000 yards. At the age of 38, give him the weapons Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers have. What does his numbers look like? They may be even more, you know what I mean? So, and maybe, he's not getting bumped in the first round. Maybe he has an scapegoat. He didn't have anything. He was out there by himself. And I don't want to say by himself like everybody else wasn't contributing, but from a sense of having different assets and resources out there, he really didn't have a whole lot. We said here, me and you being an avid Steeler fan, obviously I played for the black and gold. We watched them going 11-0, and the whole time it was a funny situation because I think the believers was like, man, we're going, right? Like we're going, and the non-believers like it's just a matter of time. And we saw the matter of time happen against Washington on Monday night. But even when we saw that, I think we still believed in the Steeler magic. They weren't turning around and things were going to get better. What happened to me, what happened to the Steelers, is that they ran out of gas. And I think they just didn't have enough in the tank to really kind of turn it on. And it was sad to see because you can see the guys who played a long time, the Cam Haywoods, the Ben Roethlisberger, the Pouncey, the Capture, those guys, they were waiting for the magic to turn on too. But the magic comes with the team as a whole. It doesn't come from one particular player. You can have an Antonio Brown, you can have this guy and that guy, but the team is how the magic transforms. It happens. One guy can't turn it on for you. And I think they were waiting for Ben in particular to kind of be that magic, to kind of turn it on. It doesn't work like that in football. You need the whole team to come alive and kind of have this resurgence, and they just didn't have enough down the road. So I'm happy that he's coming back. I think I know Ike's coming on to talk about it as well. Really, I think you got to make sure that Ben understands that that this is it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how the Steelers go on. Like if whatever happens next year, obviously we want to talk Super Bowl. That's always going to be the standard. But I don't know what happens, with him after next year. So if you're the Steelers, man, you got to go in the draft and get him a running back that can go now, right? You got to get him a center that he can really gel with and really go with now. Like you got to get guys in that building that if this is going to be your last stance, so to speak, you're going to have to find guys that can help him really make a push now because they have enough. I think they have enough to compete and do what they can do. But they're going to need some guys that can really bang, that can really play football, and that can be efficient and really get it done right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see in the draft. They're going to go line, they're going to go running back. We're going to figure it out. We got the man who played on the other side of the ball when he was there with Big Ben, the legend IT.
My brother.
Ike.
What's up, Will? What's up, Joe?
Baby?
How
you doing, man?
Good. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing well. Thanks for getting up with us. Me and Willie were just talking a little bit about the initial thoughts on the deal with Big Ben coming back. I know that you said you've been on record that Big Ben, you thought he should have hung him up. And so what do you think about him coming back in 2021?
I mean, he back now. So you just got to go with the flow. I think Seven just have to change his ways. I think Seven just got to go back to Willie. Understand how we won Super Bowls and how it happened, a good defense and a good running game. I think Seven he didn't have enough years of passing. But if you look at guys who make these playoff runs, and Seven should know, man, when you get to the playoffs, you got to have some kind of run game. So you got to have some kind of identity. And last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers on defense, offense, they didn't have any identity, and that's what the Cleveland Browns did to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs last year. That's what I was expecting the Pittsburgh Steelers to do to anybody else, but they didn't have that. And you talk about offensive linemen and drafting all these offensive linemen. The best thing you could do for a young offensive lineman or a new offensive line who really hasn't been playing a lot of games together is run the ball. To get them boys in the running mode. It's hard to pass set 50 to 60 times a game, you know? So what you want to do is just establish the old Pittsburgh way. Yeah, you got receivers on the outside, but that play action game going to work even better when it's coming off that running game. You know what I'm saying? So I just think this has nothing to do with anybody else. Me personally, and it's just my opinion, this has everything to do with Seven. Seven got to come to the conclusion and understand how we used to win these football games, how we used to get into the playoffs, how we used to dominate. So they always had the pieces around them, and you really Seven in his later years is back into his earlier years. Seven has a good defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense right now is pretty damn good. Top 5 defense. They're going to keep you in a lot of games. What you can do by helping the defense is running the ball. What you can do by helping the offensive lineman is running the ball. What you can do in trying to establish an identity again is running the ball. Everybody knows Seven can pass. Seven, I know you can pass. We all know you can pass. We all know you're going to be a Hall of Famer, first ballot, all that good stuff. But we don't, in Pittsburgh, we don't go off of playoff wins. We go off of hoisting Lombardis. And the way we got there is by playing good defense, running the ball, letting Seven be Seven. And Seven isn't Seven anymore. And I'm talking about the scrambling and, you know, the outside, the playground plays, you know. So Seven got to come, either Seven got to get in hella shape in the offseason. And I'm not trying to down him. I'm just telling y'all what I see. Got to have a hell of an offense, a hell of an offseason. Or he got to understand how important it is running the ball.
Yeah. I mean, he's 39. Like even if he does have a hell of an offseason, you know, he's no spring chicken. Like,
well, I think also what we saw was the philosophy, right? I think they went into that season with a philosophy, feeling like, well, we may not have, you know, James Conner went into the season not knowing what his injury situation was up and down all year, right? They had an offensive line where they looked at David DeCastro, who didn't start the year because he was banged up. They looked at Pouncey, who was getting a little long in the tooth, and they didn't know where he was at. And obviously, Pouncey ended up retiring. They lost Zach Banner early in the season against the Baltimore Ravens. So you put all that together, the philosophy changed, right? Because in the beginning of the season, they were running the ball fairly well. They were doing a pretty decent job up to week 5, and then they kind of went left, and then they aired the hell out the ball for so long. That's because the philosophy changed. Now, Ike's saying, all right, well, we got to run the ball. We got to help the defense out. We got to help the offensive line out. It really starts above all that. I'm never an advocate for firing anybody, but letting go Randy Fincher. I always mess his last name up, who I love dearly. It was really a situation where I think the powers to be is like, our philosophy is wrong. It starts with the OC. It starts with people who are calling these plays, because right now, if you want Big Ben to be successful next year, running the game is one thing, but what's the philosophy? I watched enough games when it was 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. There's no way in hell we're throwing short dig routes and slants when you have an efficient offensive line. I mean, our offensive line was banged up, but they were efficient. And so the philosophy has to change. Ike's saying the right thing. We got to go back to more ground and pound. But I think the philosophy of how we approach every game has to be different. Are we going to be a run team? Are we going to play a play action team? Or are we going to be a team that looks at Ben Roethlisberger to save the day? He can't save the day no more. I mean, he proved that last year. He tried. So we have to be a more well-rounded team.
So, Willie,
I think that's all on Seven, though. Seven is the joker in Pittsburgh. Seven trumps whoever comes in there. I don't care what OC you has. Just think about all the OCs that came through Pittsburgh.
Right.
And Seven is still there. Mm-hmm. So Seven can trump. If Seven want to say, I want to be in the shotgun all day, they're going to be in the shotgun all day. If Seven say, hey, look, let me get back under center right quick. I don't have to go under center all the time, but at least 40% of the time, let me get under center.
Right.
All right, Seven, whatever my playbook was, I'm going to let you rock and do what you want to do. So that's what I'm saying. Seven got a lot of say. So it's going to be on Seven. And I get the philosophy part. But 7, 18 years in the game, Pittsburgh Steelers ain't nobody trumping 7. Like, ain't no new offensive coordinator gonna come in there and be like, man, this what we gonna do. 7 gonna look at it and be like, all right, I'll do it for a week or two, and then I'm gonna go back to doing it my way. So that's what I'm saying. 7 gonna have to change his philosophy and how he thinks. I think.
So does that change more? Let's say in the draft, if they go a running back like a Travis Etienne or Najee Harris with the first pick in the first round, or if they go with offensive linemen. So either approach, if they go O-line heavy, or if they try to get their next guy at running back, is that when Roethlisberger might say, all right, now I'm good to go. Like, I got my guy in the backfield, or we got people up front. Like, which way do you think would make him say, all right, let's get back to running this thing?
For me, it's 7. It has nothing to do with who you drafted. They got running backs. You just got McFarland from Maryland last year. Like, you got plenty. You NC State a couple of years ago. Man, James Conner, obviously, he's probably
those guys aren't Najee Harris or Travis.
It ain't. Listen. We won with Jerome Bussey on the tail end, Deuce Staley on the tail end, Willie Parker in his prime, but it was mostly a 3-headed monster. That's what we had going on. That was the first Super Bowl. The second Super Bowl, we wind up damn near doing the same thing. So we keep saying these running backs. Terrell Davis was an undrafted free agent from Denver, and they had a zone block at offensive line. But you know what? They ran the ball, and guess what they did? They won a Super Bowl. If you see how good Aaron Rodgers put up numbers down there every year, league MVP. You know who his running back was? 3rd-round draft pick coming out of what? Texas,
Utah.
small school out of Utah.
Yep.
Aaron Jones. We keep saying these we keep saying these big running backs and big running backs and big running backs. Man, all you gotta do is run the ball. All you gotta do is find an identity. Tampa Bay Bucks, second half of the season. Guess what they did? They ran the ball. If you watch the Super Bowl, this past Super Bowl between KC and Tampa, all KC had to do was run the ball. Because every time they was running the ball, Clyde Edwards-Helaire was getting like 6.5 a pop. But guess what they want to do? They got stubborn, and they went back to pass. All you got to do is run the ball. I ain't saying you got to run the ball 40 times a game, but at least for me, I look at it because I was so brainwashed on offensive defensive linemen. So I actually really do pay attention to the offensive defensive linemen to help a young offense. You can establish the run game. And these runs don't have to be 40, 50-yard games. These can be 3.5 a pop here, 2.5 a pop there. About time the end of that fourth quarter come, and them defensive linemen and these linebackers and these safeties and these corners getting tired of hitting that running back, it's all because of the offensive linemen putting their weight on them from the first to the fourth quarter.
No, I hear you, but Willie, I mean, like we said, we saw last year the Steelers – there was times when they did try to run the ball, especially in the second half, but I mean, it just wasn't working. So as an offensive lineman down there nitty gritty, like, how's that? Is it scheme? Is it like, I mean, what needs to change for them to be able to, like Ike T's saying, be able to go back to running the ball?
Like I said, it goes back to, I mean, Ike makes a very good point. When it comes down, whatever 7 wants to do, he's going to do, and that's the way the offense is going to roll. But if we're going to say we're going to go back to having more of a run-dominant offense, the Pittsburgh Steelers are known for running power. You know, we're known for pulling out guards, getting around the edge. You know, we're known for coming, you know, double teaming on the front side and smashing you in the face with our running back and our fullback. So those type of things have to happen. You know, talking about who you bring in as far as draft. Like, I've never been a big advocate of drafting a big time running back. I just not me. I just feel like there's a lot of hungry, mean motherfuckers on the street who are running down your throat. The investment really starts in the offensive line. You got to understand, when I was with the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, I was on the tail end of a new era. When in 2010, man, Pouncey, DeCastro, Marcus Gilbert, all those guys were pups. You know, they were young heads. But our room was so established from a culture standpoint, who we were, what we wanted to be, and how we played a brand of football, that by the time I got long in the tooth and Max Starks got long in the tooth and Chris Kimarato and all those, we got long in the tooth, these guys are already implemented in a system and a philosophy, once again, that when hell comes to high water, if we stuck in the mud, the only way we're going to get out of it is going to be by running the ball. We know what Ben could do. We knew what a Santonio Holmes and everybody else around could do. But from an offensive line point, we understood when it came down to 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 3, if we couldn't give Mike Tomlin the confidence or BA the confidence to run the ball, then we weren't doing our job. Right now, I don't know if that's the offensive line in Pittsburgh, because I think the philosophy has changed. Where their point is like when we heard 3rd and 3 and 3rd and 5 from the defense to the offense, it was like, oh, we about to run the ball. It wasn't even thought that we were going to run a dig on the outside. We were going to run a slant, it was like, oh, we're going to run 22 double. We're going to run power. We're going to send Chemo around the horn. We're going to get it, and we're going to keep the drive going. That was just how we played football. I think what a lot of Steeler fans are accustomed to is it's always going to work out at the end, right? Like Steeler fans are kind of spoiled by Steeler football. It's always going to work out something. It don't matter how sloppy we start, it's always going to work out. That only happens, man, when you have a full team doing what they need to do, and the philosophy and the brand is all fitting at one. You know what I mean? Now, defense can't play without the offense. We can't play without the defense. We all got to be on the same accord. And I think this season, so much was relied on the defense kind of, all right, they're going to do what they do. Offense, just do what you do, and we'll figure it out along the way. I can tell you, every time they got a 3 and out, our mindset was like, all right, we got to establish a run because we got to save their legs. We also got to convert on 3rd down. Oh, before we get into halftime, we got to score, because BA used to preach to us, if you score before halftime, you got an 80 to 85% chance of winning the game. So 5 minutes going into halftime, our antennas went up. We were playing physical, we played fast, and we always try to at least get 3 or 6 in 3 or a touchdown before we get into halftime. Those are all philosophies. Those are all mindset. That's all branding type thing of how we played. So where's Pittsburgh down right now? And I think for Ben personally, and IT, and we're both retired guys, I think from a personal standpoint is, if you look at his numbers, solid numbers. If you look at what he can do, he's not the old Ben. He's not saying like Ben Roethlisberger, but he's still efficient, man. And he's still a damn good quarterback, and he still can get it done. So I have no problems with Ben coming back. But I also think from the standpoint, I think we don't talk about this enough as athletes. When you retire, man, when you playing, rather, let me start here. When you're playing, you have this invincibility. You have like this imaginary card that whatever house you walk into America, people are going to love you for you, and that you're going to be welcomed, right? Well, that changes when you stop playing football.
The red carpet is gone.
Yeah, you change the locks on your ass. Motherfuckers that who you thought you can walk into a club and love, they don't love you as much. So from all that changes, and then once that changed, now the new wave for athletes, like me and Ike could talk, right? Me and Ike could do a podcast, and I was just talking life and sports, right? Most athletes can talk, some do, some can't. Now the new way for athletes is for me to endorse myself, and for me to put myself and continue my brand is I got to get on social media. I got to do X, Y, Z. Some guys ain't built for that. Some guys don't want that life. Ben Roethlisberger, I doubt, wants that life. I don't think he wants to be, hey, shop at Bob's Auto, or fucking, here's the Big Ben donut. He's not that guy. He's a football player. He's a dad. He's a guy that likes being fishing and hunting and like, for Christ's sakes, like when I see Brett Favre and the Copper Tone commercials, and I see, fucking Jerry Rice doing the Popeyes commercials, I doubt those guys really want to do that. But they want to stay relevant, right? And they want to stay in the mix, and they want their name, and they still want that invisible key into everybody's household. So I think Big Ben is like, I can still go, I'm gonna drag this motherfucker, and I'm gonna bask in my heaven, because I think the football field is his heaven, just like it was mine, just like it was Ike's. And then once you get out of that, you got to really like, all right, he's never gonna go poor. The man's made a shitload of money in his life. He has a lot of resources. He has a beautiful family. But I think if you're an athlete of his caliber, ride until you fucking can't ride no more. Because when it's done, homie. And so I think that's where his mindset is also. I think he's going to burn out. And then, he's going to go out and his legacy is going to go to the fucking, football gods, wherever they go.
Have either of you guys talked to him recently?
I spoke to him the other day, just wish him a happy birthday. That was it. His birthday was the last week.
Yeah, 7 right now. I don't think 7 fucking with me right now, because I've been saying how I feel. I mean, I've always wanted to be a GM. So, I mean, I actually worked in the scouting department for Pittsburgh. So I'm not even, and I always think like a GM. So I'm just looking. I said a few things. So I mean, seven. No, I love him, but at the same time, I'm just looking at it from a GM perspective on what's going on. So you got him back for 2 more years. I mean, this year for sure. They expanded it for 2, just to help out the cap. But at the same time, it's just, Seven got to change his mindset. I think it's whatever Seven wants to do, that team is gonna let him do so. And I'm not saying you got to have a smash mouth philosophy. All I'm saying is you got to have some kind of identity. And for me, it's the muscle memory of offensive lineman. If I keep asking these big dudes, if you wanna be, I'll tell you what the philosophy, and this is what I think about the philosophy, Willie. If you want to be a shotgun team, or RPO team, well, you need to get some shotgun RPO offensive linemen. You can't keep drafting
100%.
these offensive linemen from
100%.
Ohio State and Stanford, all these USC, these big guys, and then ask them to pass set. Yep. That don't make no sense at all.
I believe that.
If you want to go shotgun, you got to call KC and see how they draft. You got to call, you got to call these guys who want to do shotgun and see how they draft. But we don't draft like that. Pittsburgh don't draft offensive linemen like that because the weather's too cold in the winter. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just how it is. I need to get cold weather offensive linemen who know how to play in the cold because it's going to be cold 60% of the season.
And we ain't wearing sleeves.
That's what I'm saying. No sleeves. Put Vaseline for an extra coat on your skin in the cold, and let's rock.
Go get it. Yeah, let's go get it.
So that's what I'm saying. We keep talking about who to draft. It's on Seven, man. Seven. This is gonna be year 18 for Seven. Yeah. Seven know what time it is. Seven, they're not drafting offensive linemen to be in shotgun all day, bro. You got to get under center, bro.
Well, I think
you got to hand the ball.
I think you made a good point too. Like people think about the draft as like, all right, I'm gonna get a guy. I'm gonna get from 1 through 3 or 1 through 4. I'm gonna get guys that can maybe help me out now. You get a draft. You're talking about guys that can help you out for the next 5 years. Right. So if Ben Roethlisberger's not going to be here for another year, or let's say next year he's out of he's on the couch eating ice cream or fucking duck hunting, whatever. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers are still going to be around. That team this team that's getting drafted this year, they're still going to be here. What do they look like? So now the philosophy has to match what you're doing for the next 5 years. And you got to understand, if you're going to possibly get a Dwayne Haskins, you're asking Dwayne Haskins, like, listen, man, I'm going to get you some biggins who can run the ball. I'm not going to ask a lot of it. We're going to throw the ball 20 to 25 times, but we really want to go back to the true Steeler football and run it. Like, that's when you start changing. If you're going to start changing philosophies, this is the time you do it because Ben's out and the new regime and the new wave is coming. Every draft matters, man. There is no such thing as a wasted draft. Every guy, when you know why GMs get fired? Because they draft shitty. If you look at GMs who they're no longer in the NFL, they're kind of doing whatever, because at some point while they were drafting, those guys that they drafted either were a cancer to the team, didn't help the team, or they just weren't a part of the big scheme of things that they couldn't win. So Kevin Colbert's has been a long time. He didn't just bring Ben Roethlisberger back just for the sake of it. He brought him back because I got to keep this boat steady while I bring in these new guys, and when he's out, we can now move forward. That's how you avoid hiccups. That's how you avoid bad seasons, because bad seasons break locker rooms. Bad seasons break the core of your team. Bad seasons make other guys commit fucking mutiny in your locker room and now calling out fucking Mike Tomlin and all this shit. So Kevin Colbert is an extremely smart man. He understands if we can win 8 to 10 games, that's going to still warrant free agents to get here. That's still going to keep the continuity in the locker room. That's going to keep even if we go to playoffs, like playoffs are never the goal. Fucking Super Bowl is, but it's all about stability and consistency. If the Pittsburgh Steelers remain consistent with Ben and without Ben, that's how you run an organization, man. So I just think it's a matter of everybody just realizing that whatever Ben decides to do, or whatever last year was, it can't happen this year. And whoever you draft, you got to draft that you plan to be here for the next 5 to 6 years, and that can impact you and help you right now.
Last one I got for you guys. I appreciate your time this morning. Now that we know officially Big Ben is back for 2021, what is the ceiling for this team? Can they make it to LA for the Super Bowl as currently constructed with Big Ben leading the way?
Go ahead.
Man, the only way them boys have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl, I don't think the playoffs going to be an issue. The only way them boys have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl, they got to do what the Cleveland Browns doing right now. They got to have a nice 1-2 punch They got to understand 7 ain't the old Houdini 7. He used to be. I don't think on the defensive side there'll be an issue. You got some guys coming back. Bud probably come back. Devin Bush probably would have been a Pro Bowler this year at the middle linebacker position. He was hurt last year. He's going to be back. So you got some key guys coming back on that defense. The defense is solid. Defensive linemen, linebackers, secondary, they're pretty solid. On the offensive side, you got a few holes you need to fill in, especially on the offensive line. But hell, they was rotating guys last year on the offensive line, so them guys got some quality work. So I don't think you need to go in depth with the offensive line unless you really see somebody on the draft board who you really trying to get. The running back position, man, you got running backs in the stable. You just haven't given them a true chance, man. It's hard to if y'all know what it is when you play Madden. Man, you play Madden, you run the ball 10 times, man. You ain't giving nobody no opportunity. 15 at most. 15 at most. Ain't nobody really getting no opportunity. So, man, you gotta at least run. I ain't saying you gotta at least, like you say, Willie, 50 to 50, man. And it's gonna be some games where Ben just might feel it. He just want to pass. And I'm saying 4. I said that last year. I said, man, it's gonna be about 4 games where Ben just gonna feel like, man, I'm about to air it out because our receivers will smoke this secondary. And it's going to be some games, or I think it should be some games where the game plan might be going in, airing it out, and Ben just got a feeling like, you know what, man, this week of practice wasn't that good with the offensive line. I'm just about to hand this thing off and let these boys get back into a groove. Because offensive linemen running games get in the groove. Like, you can pass all day, but the running between running backs and offensive linemen, them boys get in the groove when you start running the ball. It's muscle memory. Right. So I just think if Pittsburgh can have a Stefanski approach, a Cleveland, it's crazy I'm saying this, a Cleveland Brown approach on the offensive side, and that's running the ball when you need to, play action pass. Y'all just saw what we just saw what Cleveland just did to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs.
Well, to piggyback off that, man, I think the biggest slap in the face to the Pittsburgh Steelers was the head coach the week of the playoff game came down with COVID. They played with a patchwork offensive line, and they walked into Pittsburgh. And pissed on our couch and threw our TV out the window and ate all our food in the fridge and then left all chicken bones on the rug and said, fuck you, Pittsburgh. Like, that was the disrespect. And that's how it felt. From the opening snap, from Pouncey's botch snap to the whole game, it was a big fuck you to Pittsburgh. Now, maybe that was karma. We've been stomping the shit out of the Browns for a long, long time. Actually, it was a game that was already checked off on the calendar every year. Like, oh, that's a dub. That was our mentality. So maybe that was just the football guys that humble us. But it was a slap in the face to the Pittsburgh Steelers because your head coach was out that week. Your offensive line came in there and played bully football. They ran the fucking football. They look like they played their Super Bowl, and we look like a team that says, and always the standard is standard, we are Super Bowl. We're always going to be Super Bowl bound. We're never going to be playoff bound. We look like a team that was our first playoff game. So we take it. What we have to do going forward, and to answer your question, Joey, and I said it, yes, running the balls don't have to be efficient. You're going to have to draft offensive linemen. I've been saying you got to change the philosophy. Big Ben's coming back. What has to happen for the Pittsburgh Steelers is that the rest of this division is getting better.
Correct.
They're getting better. So if they're looking at the big picture and not paying attention to their own backyard, they're going to get washed. Joe Burrows was dull. Joe Burrows' offensive line is getting better. He's gotten pieces. Cincinnati's better. Cleveland, we just get him all this love. Baltimore, they're hungry. They're going to get the best they can out of Lamar Jackson while he's still young and he's still vibrant. The Pittsburgh Steelers they're kind of on that like, all right, we can either fold or we can kind of stack up and keep going where we need to go. The Steelers are going to have to understand, man, for moving forward, they can't go into the season feeling like 7 is going to be the end all be all, and that's the biggest problem.
That's how I felt, Willie.
Right, but I'm saying they're gonna have to. They let Vance go. They let Ebron. They're gonna have to get some quality tight ends that can not only catch the ball but can fucking block. Because if you want to run the ball, I can't tell you, and I can tell you. And I, the one of the most underrated dudes on our team, besides Heath Miller's God to me, right? Heath Miller's God to me. But one of the most underrated human beings on the Pittsburgh Steelers when we were making our runs, when we were hot, was Matt Spade. Matt Spade, when I tell you, pound for pound, Everybody knew he was catching touchdowns. He was making big blocks. If you go back from that 07 to 2010, you will see a 6'8" motherfucker from Minnesota clean people up who knew he wasn't getting the ball in the game, who knew nobody was looking for him, but he was going to dig in your ass. Matt Spaeth on the offensive side was a true unsung hero, and that's because he understood his job. He knew for us to be efficient, he was going to have to block Terrell Suggs. He was going to have to block Tamba Ali. He was going to have to block Jared. He was going to have to block some big time motherfuckers and knuckle up. It's the will. One thing I make Ike, and I talk about Ike all the time. What made him and his defense, his historic defense that he can go to the grave with, is that they were extremely selfless. Extremely. There wasn't a competition. There wasn't a job they weren't willing to do. Right. That's the philosophy I'm talking about. That's like, all right, I gotta get guys in here, no matter what the task is. They're not worried about their fucking Instagrams or what they look like. They're gonna go get it for the sake of the team. That was Matt Spaeth. That was Chris Kimawatu. That was Hines Ward. So all that has to come back. And if you go into this season and say, all right, well, we got 7, so we got a shot, you're gonna be fooling yourselves. You need everything. You need all bullets in the chamber. You got to find them every fucking week.
Fellas, this has been phenomenal. The insight and the knowledge that you guys bring just so good. I appreciate you waking up with me, and we're going to do it again because we got a lot to talk about this off season. We got a lot to talk about this upcoming year with Big Ben and everything coming. So appreciate it. Super Bowl champion Willie Colon, Super Bowl champion Ike Taylor. Have a good weekend, fellas.
All right.
Love you, Ike.
Love you too, bro.
All right, bro.
See you, bro. All right. There it is. Willie and Ike Taylor. I mean, that's just, for a kid. I mean, I grew up watching those guys. It's surreal. They felt like part of the family on Sundays with the Molinaro group because, we were watching them make their playoff runs and everything. So just the absolute best. And they bring so much knowledge. So I hope you enjoyed that. We're definitely going to do that again. Before we hop into Stu Feiner, Nick L says, thoughts on Juju and Claypool diva-like personalities. They don't – see, I think that's the difference between, like, back in, like, 2005, you had, like, diva-type personalities like Terrell Owens. And now, in 2021, the world has changed, the media has changed, the branding has changed for athletes to where they're not divas. They just have brands. They're not causing problems in the locker room. They just – they become knowledgeable about, I understand this platform that I have, and I'm going to play football for 7 years, and then I'm going to be Juju, the TV personality. I'm going to be Chase Claypool, the whatever it is. Those guys are good dudes. They're not cancerous dudes like a Terrell Owens, like a problematic guy like that back in the day. They're just guys like everybody else in the league and everybody else who's going to come after them in professional sports. They're going to have TikToks. They're going to have Instagrams. They're going to have Twitters. They're going to have their own YouTube channel. That's just the world that we live in now. It just is. I mean, you look at kids in high school like Bronny James and people like that. They already have like 2 million followers on Instagram. You don't think that when they're eventually in college or they're eventually in the pros, I mean, who knows what it's going to be like? That's just the world we live in. So those guys are good dudes. I don't think that they're divas. People just are still thinking in that stage of era of the NFL of, if you get talked about a lot or if you're flashy, you're a diva. They're not divas. They're good locker room dudes. They're good teammates. I've talked to them. I know them. They just have TikToks like everybody else does. All right. Really, really good Steelers talk. Went a little long, but I say 9 to 10. That's just what you're guaranteed is 9 to 10 a.m. We're going to go a little longer here with Stu Feiner because Stu is my guy, and he has been so welcoming and so great to me and my family since I joined Barstool. This conversation is so much fun. So I really hope you enjoy it. Here's the legendary Stu Feiner. Let me get it here. There we go. All right. Here we go.
Cup of Joey, the legend, Stu Feiner. Finally getting to meet, finally getting to talk. How are you, my man?
Good. Everything's good. Ready to roll. Family's good. Health is good. I look great. Look at me. And the only person that looks better than me is you, really, because your hair's longer.
Yeah, I know. I've been letting this thing grow a little bit, but I've seen the pics back in the day. You had some flow going on.
Yeah, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. My hair was longer than yours. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the way to go back then. So I got to know right off the bat, Where does all this Stu Feiner energy come from, man? Is it the coffee? Is it just how you've always been?
You know, I mean, truthfully, do you want me to talk to your gut level like you're my son type thing?
Yeah.
Probably my father telling me that everyone hates Jews. And since I am a Jew, that I didn't perpetuate my race because I married Irish Catholic. So in other words, I think it's having fun because I think someone's going to kill me.
Okay. So why are you?
That's my life. So every day I try to have as much fun as possible, and I don't give a fuck.
Absolutely, no, you definitely don't. 100%. So
my enjoyment of life probably gets in the way of a lot of good things.
No, I tweeted before.
No, on my own. Like, I like being selfish, so that's me.
I've said everybody needs to live like Stu Feiner. I've said it.
Right. No, exactly. It's hard being a living legend. Like, if I was a legend, I'd be dead. Big deal. But I can ruin my legacy every day. So I have to, and I try to raise the game. I try to live every second like a train's going to run me the fuck over, or my heart's going to stop and I'm dying. Because it could happen. Yeah. Because it literally could happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
People take it for granted. You got to just go.
I mean, no one could ever say, like, if I died at 30, no one could ever say that fucking guy lived like he had the best life possible. So
yeah, I'm
good. I'm good.
So how do you celebrate the holidays? You're Jewish, you're Catholic. What do you do?
We celebrate everything because you just never know at the pearly gates. You know what I'm saying? I think I could talk God into anything, but you never know.
Okay. Do you like?
So Christmas? I have the Irish Catholic, and we do everything.
Yeah, but which one do you like?
The first two children, I got 4 children, right?
Yeah.
The first 2 were bar mitzvah. The other 2 were nothing.
Okay.
We figured out after having 2 children, when we said to children 3 and 4, there is no God, and you have to do something with science, or I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, so is there a little divide in the house there? First 2 are kind of like,
listen, I'm a non-practicing Jew. What I feel is that I love everyone. I'm going to do the best for everyone. I'm going to give literally the shirt off my back to everyone. I don't give a flying fuck. Even people that fuck me, that's how I'm going to live, because I don't give that's the best way to live. You can't, you know what I'm saying? I get enjoyment out of giving to others and watching their enjoyment.
Were you always like that, or do you have
always
like
people pleaser? Well, again, if your father teaches you that people hate you, then you better make them like you. So I'm a good people pleaser.
Gotcha. Okay. How many cups of coffee do you drink today? How many cups of coffee do you drink a day?
10.
10 a day?
And like 6 diet Snapples, and then probably literally easy 150, 200 ounces of water.
Do you get jittery at all? If I have like
no, never. Like literally never.
Man.
Like I could snort an 8-ball right now in front of you, and I'm not getting jittery.
Did you have a cocaine phase?
Not really.
No.
Like, in other words, when it was there, I hit it really fucking hard. My brother sold it when in his teens and 20s and hung out with really bad people and had to carry guns and Doberman pinchers and just like that scared the fuck out of me. Truth be told. My buddy I was in 11th grade. He was a year older in 12th, and he was selling coke, and he got arrested, and he went away for 2 years in jail, and that sobered up Farmingdale and everybody who ever met him. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So in other words, I was scared shit. So when I did it, it's fun, but you know what it makes me do? Be honest, eat faster. So what the fuck's the point? You know what I mean? Like, literally, well, what does cocaine do for you, Stu? I eat faster. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't fuck any better. You know what I'm saying? I'm not smarter, but it's fun, but no, definitely not. That scared the fuck out of me. So truth be told, no.
You don't strike me as a weed guy at all either. You're too jacked up.
No, I'm stoned every day. I'm 20 bowl packs a day. I'm hitting, I put little buds and I smoke like 20 hits a day minimum. Yeah, I love my marijuana. Since late 70s. The only time I stopped smoking pot was 1988 to 1995. I was cold sober on everything, because we came back from our honeymoon, me and Sandy, from Italy. And we said, we're never having kids. Let's just party. And then, of course, she was pregnant already. So she says to me, I don't want you to raise the kids stoned. So my first two, I was able to get away with it. My third was born. So from 1980 to 1995, I was cold sober. And then my buddies came over with hash, and then we rented a plane, went to Atlantic City. It was we won like $75,000. It was a pretty good trip. I took my wife's engagement ring while she was in the hospital and upgraded it. So she's got like a $150,000 ring because of that money one. So I didn't piss away 1 cent. First time in my life and only time. You know, let's say I have 1,000 gambling stories. I have 990 losers. I have 10 really good winners. You know what I mean? Like, that's how it goes.
That's a really good winner. Yeah, because things could have gone really badly.
But
there.
I love smoking pot. Nobody loves smoking pot more than me. No one can smoke me under the table. I could smoke every day, twice on Sunday, bongs, blunts, anything. It's insane.
So my question then becomes, what is Stu Feiner like when he's not mellowed out by marijuana?
I like to exercise. Then I would like to run. I like running. I started walking because I didn't want to hurt myself. Running, you know, you could hurt your groin, you could hurt your knees, you know, you start running. No. But I exercise a lot. When I'm straight, then I'm exercising. I'm running. I'm walking 40 miles a week. I'm running 40 miles a week.
So was your wife in the hospital because of a kid, or was something more fucked up and you just took her ring?
No, that was my third child, Ryan. He was born on February 10th, and we went that night. And I played, I just pressed the number 10, and it was like the first bet was 200, we won 7,000. Then the next bet was like, we won 24,000 because I surrounded it. And then the next bet was like 40,000, and then we walked. We got back on the plane. Fuck you. Let's go. Done.
What a celebration.
We didn't even lose a lot of money on the roll that we lost before we left. Obviously, we had a losing roll. That's when we got on the plane, but we didn't press that one. We did amazing.
So you knocked her up on the honeymoon, though. I mean,
well, my first, we're talking. My first, we knocked up on the honeymoon. Yeah, we went to Italy for 2 weeks and then a cruise for 2 weeks. We had 325 people at the wedding. It was 75,000 for the wedding and 50,000 on the honeymoon. 125 grand in 1988. Oh
my God, that makes my wedding a couple years ago seem like, I mean, 20,000.
No, I've been making $250,000 a year since I'm 20. That's a long time. And well, let's see. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yes. When I quote that number, yes.
Did you get any? Did you get any from the movie with Pacino? Or did you get a cut of that?
No. But I'm able to use forever that Al Pacino played me, and Jim Robinson of Morgan Creek Production.
Yeah.
He owns it. He called me and I had to sign and spoke to me. We spoke on the phone, and I had to sign off rights for them to use the sports advisors in that movie so that I wouldn't sue them.
Gotcha. So did you
in other words, but in other words, I did not make 1 cent, but I've made millions of dollars promoting myself off of it. Like, in other words, Al Pacino played me, Rene Russo played my wife, Matthew McConaughey played a disgruntled employee who worked for me, Amanda Sante played a prototypical customer that we lost for, and you know, we had no idea, and he chased, you know, that type of thing. So in other words, 25% of the movie was real, 75% was horseshit. But that's how it went. But it was still Al Pacino, Rene Russo, Matthew McConaughey, Amanda Sante, Jeremy Piven. I mean, you know, it was right, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's. Did you get to talk to Pacino at all?
No, I didn't talk to anybody with the movie because the person that, like, in other words, it's a disgruntled employee standpoint working for me. So Brandon was able to, as a caddy on the Riviera Country Club, he worked for me, went on a horrific losing streak for 9 months. And he made me so much money that we let him destroy people for 9 months. When I once made the move, I then took away him picking the games because he was so bad. So then my brother-in-law picked the games, and then I cut his pay. And Brandon said, "Fuck you, I'm leaving." And literally that's how it went. He wrote me a letter. He gave me back a wristwatch, you know. So, I mean, that part was real. And then the rest was nonsense. Like the restaurant they depict there was Nanny Il Valletta, 61st between Lex and Park. I picked up a fucking drop dead gorgeous 10 for him. You know, like if I wasn't married, I would have fucked the girl because she wanted to fuck me, but I got him to fuck Brandon.
Yeah.
And
very nice of you.
You know that. Thank you. Exactly. Listen, I'm hospitable. You know, and I don't have a prenup. And I would live in a cardboard box if she ever wanted to fucking hammer me. And, and she has the ammo too. But
Yeah.
38 years, she lives angry, but she's the fucking best.
Yeah, no, I love it.
Yeah, so in other words, but the movie has made me in a lot of areas. I mean, how many people could say that Al Pacino played them in a movie? You know what I'm saying? It's like insane. No, and it was fucking great. Like they had on my Sports Advisor show, it was Al Pacino, it was Matthew McConaughey and Jeremy Piven. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Who would have thought? 17-year-old Stu Feiner,
Exactly.
Great movie magic.
Exactly. Again.
Real. What this is gonna sound like a weird question probably, but have you ever been to with your kids and your wife, do you ever go to like a parent teacher conference? Do you ever get into a teacher's ass for being a dick to your kid? I feel like you would just raise hell there.
No, you know something? My kids, by the grace of God, have my wife's brain, so they're all really smart.
Nice.
So we never had real problems there. Like a couple of times I went over, whatever, like normal stuff. But normally it would be if I didn't like, let's say, the way the coach was playing my kid, then I could be that motherfucking asshole.
You were the sports dad while the school was okay.
Right. Like one of my kids didn't make the team, and I called him up. I go, listen, in PAL, he's smoking these fucking kids, and he literally said to me, "Well, he ain't fucking smoking them now." I'm like, okay. I didn't threaten his life and say I'm gonna fuck your mother, but I had to humble myself, and I love the guy, to be honest. But like I was that asshole. I wasn't an asshole with the parent teachers, but we went to all the conferences. By the grace of God, because of what I do you realize something? I made lunch for all my kids, all my 4 sons. I made lunch for them until they told me don't make lunch in 9th, 10th grade.
There you go.
From kindergarten to 10th grade. I picked them up from school. Okay. I went on these trips. I went to, the Twin Towers. I went to all the zoos. I went to the museums. By the grace of God, I was able to do that,
Quality time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, so in other words, I cost myself millions because I wasn't like whoring out or running a boiler operation or making money to make money to make money. I made enough money to pay the bills, and certain times I didn't even make enough money to pay the bills, and certain times I scored out. But I was able to spend all the time with my kids, and I was able to coach my first 3 in everything. And then my 4th, I was able to coach everything when he was 5. And then my wife looked me in the eye and said, "We're not making enough money, you scumbag, get back to fucking work." Threatened me. And then from my 4th kid at 6 years old forward, other people coached him.
You had to make some decisions.
But I coached my first 3 in baseball, football, basketball, soccer.
So you would be a legendary coach. I mean,
well, I said to the kids, I said, listen, kids who suck, guys, you never play. Let me just tell you that right now, but you can't fucking hate me. You're going to swim in my pool. I'm going to have popcorn, cotton candy, ice cream. I got a fucking $2 million house. You're going to be on my pirate ship, my ball bath, my fucking 2 trampolines. Okay.
Yeah.
Swimming in my fucking 20 to 60 in the ground, concrete pool, men's bathroom, men's shower, women's bathroom, women's shower, 2.6 acre estate. And the parents were like, no problems.
So you were bribing the parents.
No issue.
You sucked.
I only played my best kids. I went to win. Listen, I won soccer championships playing it like it's football, not knowing a motherfucking thing about soccer. I couldn't teach a kid how to kick a ball, but we played it like football. I'm like, listen, I know nothing about this sport, but just knock this person over. Get in his face. Don't worry about the penalty. Steal the ball. Be aggressive. So, yeah, people love me.
That's the movie I want to see.
I bought toys for people at KB Sports and these other things. Like I bring, hundreds of dollars worth of toys to the game so that kids who hated me because they never played and the parents who really hated me and wished I was dead, like I was in Nazi Germany and they gassed me, those people, but their kid loved me because I did bring toys.
What did you ever, feel like you might run into some trouble bringing little kids toys, or was that never a factor?
What do you mean? I brought them right to the fucking field. Like practice would be at 6, and I'd fucking have 2 bags of $200 worth of fucking toys, and I'd give them out to everyone.
You're saying,
yeah, exactly. I did it right in front. I did an open house. Do I look like a pedophile to you? I'm gonna knock you out when I fucking meet you the first time. You're going down. You better be able to take a punch, you scumbag.
That's the movie I want to see. Is Coach Stu.
Exactly.
Not the gambling one. I want to see Coach Stu coaching Little League kids.
You have to talk to my kids. My kids.
That's a comedy.
My kids have so many stories, beyond stories.
The first Barstool Sports movie or whatever. Stu Feiner coach.
I mean, it would work because I should have never been allowed to coach. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving people games for $100,000, and then I'm running to the field in a suit at 6:30 after I did my TV show, and I'm coaching PAL basketball like 6 years old, like it's the like it's the NBA championship. I'm screaming, "Steal the ball! He can't dribble! Steal the ball!" Like I'm literally influencing the game like a scumbag yelling at a 6-year-old who's mortified.
So the dads had to be coming to you for their picks, though, right? And they're looking. They're giving you their card.
Something. I never gave picks to them. You know, I really didn't. I think then, you know, I just said, you know, the people that I met didn't have money, and I said, gambling is for the rich to lose money. You're not rich, and you sure as fuck can't lose money. So I never pitched it to them. You know what I'm saying? That especially like if I'm hanging out with people every day, I'm going to tell them how it is. You're not going to win money gambling. No one wins money gambling. People who say they win money gambling are liars in addition to losers. Gambling is for the rich to have an amazing time, an amazing life, have fun, lose money. If everybody took a zero off what they bet, the world would be a better place. And if you took 2 zeros, that would even be better. Because why get in trouble? You love the action. You love the thrill. It's so much fun. You're a manager. You're controlling the best players in the world with, you know, the fantasy now. You do everything. And in other words, but the problem becomes is that it's something that the rich do to have fun and lose money. That's the premise of gambling, any sort of gambling. No one wins. You know, no one
gambling
wins.
And not investing, right?
Never.
Yeah.
You know, you could take a shot and make money, but you're going to give it back tenfold, not even onefold. If you only lost a little, what's the big deal? But most people get destroyed. You know, you could catch me on a streak. I've won 36 in a row. You know, I mean, you catch Stu Feiner on a hot streak and you start pressing, you know, you could fucking change your life. You could also catch me cold and the reality of gambling hits you in the face.
Right. Are you more of a Vegas guy? Do you like Vegas or is that no for you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I love Vegas.
Okay. Were you more Vegas or Atlantic City or do you have a preference?
Oh, but 100 times more AC because it's accessible. Since 1982, the minute I became 21 and I could go there, you know, the Playboy Hotel was the hot one then. It was crazy. Everybody was in Playboy bunny outfits and they were all 10s. You know what I'm saying? 10s. Then you could get away with, you know, body shaming and you could fucking, you know, not only are you fucking the girls then, these people, but they were 10s. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know, but whatever. And everybody got away with it. But Atlantic City, yeah. Because Vegas, because I'm always working. I've been working since 1980. You know, I'm in the action. I'm servicing games. Even when I go on vacation, it's never like I'm not servicing games, you know.
Right. Yeah, no, you don't have any days off for sure.
Right, exactly.
Who fucks more, you or Dave Portnoy?
Portnoy.
Yeah.
Portnoy, I mean, listen, if Dave Portnoy ain't fucking everything that walks, who is? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, listen, I give him a hard time, right?
Yeah.
And, but who fucks more than him?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And when we've seen little pieces of him, you know, when he wants to drop a sex tape and then go, oh, I don't know what it is. It's an FBI. Did you see it? That's a felony. You know, that's so weak, Dave. Dave, you're so strong in every other area, but that's as weak as you can get when he says that. That's his comeback. You know he can fuck. I mean, he fucks like a fucking king, you know, like, so yeah. I would say he's tenfold to me. But the question you're asking is me 16, 17, and Dave 16, 17, he's sucking my dick. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's, you want to go talk real. It's been a long time. Been with the same girl since 38 years. We're going back, John.
Yeah. Is that tough for you? I mean, because you're the fucking.
No, you fuck. Listen, she's given me 4 healthy sons. Think about that.
Yeah.
You know, even if she was the worst person possible and she's the best person possible, she's given me 4 sons. So
okay. That's
amazing. She's a great mother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, she really cares.
I'm curious, who films you when you do your videos? Is it your sons? Is it
yes, no, it's only one person. It's my son, Alex.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. He's going to be 30 years old.
Okay. I didn't know because, my wife, I do a lot of videos as well, obviously. And so sometimes my wife's like, will you just shut the fuck up? So I didn't know if Sandy was like, or Mrs. Feiner, sorry, I don't want to be disrespectful.
No, Sandy's fine. Sandy's perfect. Sandy,
I didn't know
you're
if
part of the family. Joe, you're family. You come in my kitchen, you could drink my milk from the fucking refrigerator.
Well, that means a lot because honestly.
I mean, come on. You're from Indiana. If you can't trust someone from Indiana, who can you ever trust?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. You know what I'm saying?
No, I appreciate that because honestly, I was always kind of intimidated by you until you messaged me at first. I was like, "Fuck, Stu would get on my ass, man."
No, I need more Stu stuff. I mean, listen, you categorize me with a lisp, which other people have in the past, so it's not like you're the originator. It's so weird, but I don't hear the lisp in myself. Yeah, that's the craziest part. But my oldest son, even 15 years ago, they're always like saying they're making fun of your dad. They have a lisp. Oh my God, I can't hear the list though. But we need 10, 20, 100 times more Stu stuff. Why waste your time on, Saban and, in other words, Mahomes and, let's go right to the top, moi, and let's go. You could be as deprecating. You could destroy me. I love it.
Yeah, no,
I can take it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
I know you can. And that's why I love to do it on Thanksgiving. It's hilarious. You're always, I watch you
work it in and then send me a check. Okay, that's basically how it. That's how I roll. Like just so you know where it's coming from, and
that's how you're ready to roll. No, we watch Sports Advisor. It's kind of funny because so I'll be real with you. My wife, God love her, she has kind of a love-hate relationship with you. She loves you. She thinks you're hysterical. She loves how good you are to me. But sometimes I'll put on Sports Advisors. There will be like 9 a.m, and I'll be watching your videos, cracking up, and she'll be sleeping, and she'll be like. Can you shut Stu up for a second? So
that's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. So it's she loves everything about you, but then those times sometimes where we're getting ready to roll, she's just like, it's a little early for Stu, don't you think?
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, man, listen, Stu, I can't wait to get out there to the East Coast. And you said you'd come here. So I'm waiting on maybe you coming to.
I would. I mean, not right this second. We're still in a COVID area. All our restaurants are closed. That's it. But as far as coming to you, 100%. Also, my friend lives in Indiana. So I will see you and then see him. Yeah. I've never seen him. One of my best friends in my wedding party. Yeah. And he moved to Indiana maybe 20 years ago. He worked on a stationary gambling boat. That was his first, because he was in the offshoreman, and then he was the maintenance man on the stationary boat. But it was gambling. Somehow it never left pier, but you were allowed to gamble on it. Most of the time you got to go 3 miles out or whatever. Yeah. So and then it eventually went out. So that's what he does. So he's like a merchant marine.
Yeah, let's double up there. We'll do that. When I come up to the East Coast, obviously, you offer.
Oh, no. Listen, absolutely. 100%. Now, do you smoke pot?
I got really bad anxiety and paranoia, so I kind of stay away.
No. So that's the worst, right? Like, yeah, my sons don't love it either. One of them does, but most of them don't because they say when they smoke it, they have to sit in their room.
Yeah,
they ate too many edibles and they almost lost their minds, they said.
I get all weird. I bet I'd be fine with you, but I'm more of a drinker. I like to.
So what is your drug of choice?
My drug of choice or my drink?
No, I mean drinking.
Drinking. Man, I like some bourbon. I like
bourbon,
straight up beer, wine, big wine. Give me some red wine. Even though it kills my acid reflux, but I love wine.
Oh yeah, that burns. No.
Golly, man, it's terrible.
Right.
But I drink.
Tastes great on the way in and horrible on the way out.
I got Tums right next to me. I'm down. I'm like, that's my fucking drug. Is Tums.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And now you have no children though, right?
Nope, no kids yet.
Okay.
No. So,
and how old is your wife?
25. Well, she'll be 25 in January. So.
Oh, okay. And is she from Indiana too?
Yep.
Okay.
Out here, went to Purdue and did that whole thing. So.
Oh, really? That's where you went to college?
That's where she went.
Oh, okay. Where did you go?
I went to the University of Indianapolis. Little South school, D2 school, but yeah, I got myself a cheerleader, Stu. She was a cheerleader at Purdue, so
really,
I'm rolling. Yeah.
Wow, that's like winning the lottery.
Yeah, I never would have thought. All these things that happen and shit.
Purdue's an amazing school too.
It is. Yeah, I love Purdue and shit.
Now, did you play sports?
I mean, growing up, but I didn't in college.
No, okay, not in high school or college.
Well, high school, yeah, but college.
What'd you play in high school?
All three: football, basketball, baseball. So.
Oh, really?
Yep.
What was your best sport?
Probably baseball. I don't know. I liked football the most, but I was just an okay athlete.
Okay.
Good enough.
How tall are you?
About 6 foot.
Oh, you're 6 foot. Okay, yeah, you look tall. Day.
So
and then how much do you weigh?
In high school, it was like 185. Now it's like 205.
205. Okay.
A male, the grown man weight, I like to call it. So.
Now, do you exercise? Do you run? Do you do anything with weights or nothing?
Yeah, I go through spurts. When I'm trying to lose a chubby face, as I call it, I'll hit it pretty hard and get thinner. But I haven't for a little bit. I'm a lazy piece.
Well, 185 to 205. Listen, that's what I weigh, and I'm 5'4" 3/4. So you look amazing. You look compared to me, you look like a god. I'm like a hobbit, and you look like Zeus.
No, I wouldn't go that far, man. You haven't seen me with my shirt off, but
right. No, listen, it's okay.
My face is looking thinner, but
right.
hey,
I was just being nice to you. You do look fat. No, you are fat. Look at I mean,
I know.
Look at yourself. Right, your cheek. You look Chinese. Your cheeks make you come up here.
Stu, thanks for the time, man.
I love you. Thank you.
Yeah,
it's an honor. You're great at everything you do. You really are. I'm a big fan. I love ventriloquist. I love that you have that skill set because that's a talent. That's like being able to sing or dance, pick winners, that's a skill set that you do. And, 0.001 of the world can do what you do. You know what I'm saying? They can't be taught it. It's either inherent. I don't know how you figured it out. How did you know that you could do that?
I just
to make people laugh, you all of a sudden came out with it and wow, that was good, and you were able to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a house with my, my dad, and then my grandpa and uncle. When we'd be around, they loved SNL and things like that, and everything. So the Dana Carveys, the Jimmy Fallons of the world. I was always like, oh, that's awesome. They can do those characters, and so I just started doing some when I was younger, and then it just kind of worked out.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah,
we love you. My kids, I never even heard of you. And then my kids said, this guy's the best there. And I'm like, what do you mean? I don't even know who the fuck that is. And then I went to it and I'm like, wow, this guy's great.
Thank you. That means so much. I love you too. I can't wait to meet, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Very good. Love you.
All right. Stu Feiner. Let's see. Stop sharing. Stop screen. Stu Feiner. There he is. He's in the comments. Thanks, Nick. Thank you for everybody being with us for the first week of Morning Joey. It's been a lot of fun. It's a dream come true, hosting a daily show for an hour with all you guys. So Stu's interview will be up on barstoolsports.com, on my YouTube channel. So will the conversation with Willie and Ike about the Steelers. So much fun. Like Stu says, we're ready to roll into the weekend. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you Monday morning live at 9.